when you look at Gen Z 2.0's politics, there has been this major shift to the right amongst young people. It may have allowed them to vote for Trump as a first time voter in the 2024 election or to consider themselves part of the MAGA movement. But these are not loyal Republicans. They are not loyal conservatives. They just so happen to vote for Trump in this election. And I really want to be clear about that, because when I have conversations with young voters, overwhelmingly, whether they're in Gen Z 1.0 or Gen Z 2.0, they do not like either party. They do not want to associate with either party. There are very few people who actually feel that they have a lot in common with the political leaders on either sides. There's a lot of political homelessness and an overwhelming sense of frustration with the political system writ large. And yes, we saw President Trump make inroads with young people and young men in particular because he welcomed them into the conversation and was very willing to embrace new media. There's been so much conversation, probably too much conversation, about the manosphere and the way that Trump went on this podcast tour. Trump did a really good job of politically coding culture. So he went to these cultural places and just had a normal conversation. He was a normal guy. He talked about sports. He talked about things that are in culture. He talked about his son, Barron. He talked about all of his children. There was very little conversation about policy. Young people want someone who is willing to talk to them, who is willing to say, hey, I understand where you're coming from on X, Y, or Z. I want to have a conversation with you. The number one issue for young people that has been completely overlooked and now is a part of the conversation, but it wasn't, was the economy and economic anxiety. For some reason, and maybe because the most visible Gen Zers who had a political opinion were the ones who were on the forefront of those social movements that I discussed, I think that was part of why politicians and Democrats in particular thought that they had to talk about climate change and gun violence and abortion in order to reach young people. But in reality, young people are prioritizing the economy because if they can't afford the cost of living, their college education, a home, starting a family, how are they even going to think about anything else? This generation will vote for whomever is talking to them about the issues that matter to them. Look at a candidate like Zohran Mamdani in New York City. He is expressing a lot of the same sentiments that Donald Trump did in the 2024 election, and he's resonating with young people too.